Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. In today's video, we're going to learn how to remove your stock spoiler on your S550 Mustang. In my case, my 2019 Mustang GT, but this is the same process whether you own the Mustang ecoboost or the V6 or Mach 1 or Shelby even. So I'm going to be removing this stock spoiler that came with the car, and I'm going to be replacing it with the GT 500 spoiler. And we'll go ahead and walk through all the basic steps. It's very easy to follow. And I want to say it's probably just going to take you about a couple hours or so to really get through it, even if that's your first time doing something like that. With that being said, let's dive right into the video. All right, let's open up the trunk for step one. Once you open up your trunk, you are going to see these 9 pop clips that are holding your trunk liner down. Now you need to remove the trunk liner because in order for you to be able to access 2 of the bolts from the spoiler. Let me show you what these trunk liner are being held by. These are these 9 pop clips that you're going to be removing. Let's take a closer look at those pop clips, and we're going to show you how to remove each of those pop clips. So that's what they look like up close. You can use your hands or your fingers to basically pop them open. It can take a lot of patience to be able to do that. I suggest if you already have a trim removal tool, you can use that, or even a flathead screwdriver will work good for this. Just use my hands to really take these out. Yep. I don't want to break them, but I did not have a trim removal tool handy, so I actually ended up using this flathead screwdriver, which made the job a lot easier than when I first attempted to do it with my hands. Those 9 tabs look like. Just gotta be gentle with them. Some of them were definitely more stubborn than I would have liked them to be. But yeah, they're finally out. All right, now the trunk liner is open. We just want to get this, feed this one through here, and then we've got 2 of these. These should just push, and we should be able to pull on these, and that will release the trunk liner completely, giving us the access to the spoiler itself and the screws. All right, so we're gonna move this now. Just gonna push this one out. Just like that, the liner is done. The last part is removing this portion. Move this out, and there we go. So we got the trunk liner now, and now you can see the exposed screws over here for the spoiler itself. Now that the trunk liner is completely removed, you've got 4 bolts that are holding the spoiler down. You've got 1 on each corner, and you've got 2 of the main bolts right up here. We're going to be using a 10mm to remove these bolts along with the corner ones that will completely free up the stock spoiler. Alright, so now we're going to be removing these corner rubber nubs. There's 1 in this corner, 1 in this corner. This will give you the access to the 10mm for the spoiler itself. Move this out. So this is what we just took off to get the access to 10mm for the spoiler, and these are the ones we talked about earlier. So here I am using the 10mm to basically remove the bolts from the middle of the spoiler. So these are the 2 spoiler bolts that we talked about, and the other ones are going to be the corner, which we'll tackle in a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to attempt the last ones, which are in the corner on these, on either side basically. The tricky part with these are even more prone to falling into the trunk. So it'd be best if you have someone who can help you out. And I'll grab someone who can help me out basically, so we can shut the trunk halfway closed so the gravity will do its work. And basically as I'm loosening it, it comes out with the socket instead of dropping in there. All right, so for these corner ones, we're gonna use this to loosen them a little bit. And like I said earlier, we're gonna bring this down a little bit to help with the gravity, so you don't want to lose the nut into the trunk. So I'm gonna do that first, and we'll show you how to do the other part. All right, so we finally got these out. It was really helpful to kind of have the trunk halfway closed. Now the spoiler is pretty much free, and it's time to do the tedious work, which is trying to get this spoiler out because it's still held by the 3M tape, which can be a little stubborn. Line it through here and work our way. You can use a fishing line as well, but I've heard some people kind of scratch up their paint. So what I ended up doing is actually just applying some force and pulling it, because the spoiler is free in terms of the bolts. They're completely unbolted, so it's just the 3M holding it. So you just gotta apply some force. Don't be afraid to apply some force. And once you kind of do it, you'll get the corner ones out. So here you can see I've gotten one side out, and the other one is also a little bit out too. So just apply force. If you've had your car for a long time, then you may need to use a heat gun to kind of heat up the 3M tape and let it free. But I basically went ahead, mine is 3 years old, so I just applied a lot of force. I was kind of afraid, but don't be afraid. Just move it like this, and eventually your spoiler is going to break free and completely come out. Get that all that 3M tape. This needs to be cleaned up. Now is going to be a good time to use some quick detailer. Wipe this off, rub the 3M tape clear. Alright, we're going to use some of the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax and try to wipe down the surface clean. So go ahead and pick up your favorite detailer and spray it up a little bit. Let it soak for 30 seconds or so, and then you can start basically wiping it. And it's a really important step because more than likely you're probably going with an aftermarket spoiler, so it's going to cover that anyways, but I like to just have it completely clean. So just wiping the surface clean will really help, because now comes the tedious part, which is getting the remaining 3M tape out. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You could use a heat gun to kind of break apart the 3M tape and remove it that way. Use a glue gun, or just use your hand, kind of like your fingernails, but obviously if you're going to go that route, you have to be really careful. I went ahead and basically used my fingers, not really fingernail, and kind of worked manually. It took a lot of time for me. It took about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So you have to be really patient, especially if you don't want to scratch your car up. It takes time, but it is definitely worth it. So once all the 3M tape was removed, I went ahead and installed the spoiler myself. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you are probably installing an aftermarket spoiler. I went ahead with the GT500 spoiler, which in my opinion looks very aggressive, changes the look of the car completely. I'll go ahead and give better shots in the morning so you can kind of see how the GT500 spoiler looks like if you're in the market just trying to figure out what spoiler to get. Well guys, this is how the spoiler looks like. I'm really impressed by the results. Definitely took longer than what I expected, but it was definitely worth it. It has completely changed the car's look, at least in my first impression. I'll definitely have an in-depth video coming in for the review of this GT500 spoiler, so stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. Comment below what you think about the GT500 spoiler and this. And of course, subscribe to Red 50 for more videos.